So we'll start at 2:30.
Yeah, no worries.
So can we begin now? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. So should we start or should we wait for 5 minutes more? for the participants to join in?
So with the introduction and everything, it's anyway going to take up the time. Participants are joining in, sir. We already have 75 external attendees.
Okay.
Anyway, so very good afternoon once again to all the participants. We welcome you all to the second day of our FDP titled Emergent Pedagogy and Contemporary Research Methods in Travel and Tourism. Now, may I request Professor Siddharth Nanda sir, Head of the Institution of Amity Institute of Travel and Tourism, Kolkata, to kindly welcome our guest speaker for the day.
Thank you, Mr. Vandita. We have an eminent guest speaker for today. It's a pleasure and honor to have you, sir. I'll just introduce you to all the participants. Mr. Srilal Miththapala is the past president, Tourist Hotels Association of Sri Lanka. He was also the director of Laughs Leisure, international board member of Asian Ecotourism Network and tourism strategy consultant at University of Plymouth. Mr. Srilal has over 30 years of wide experience in the hospitality industry, firstly in hands operational management and then in strategic tourism development. With a first degree in electrical engineering and then in embracing the hospitality industry, his career commenced with gaining good hands-on experience in operations at resort level, hotel level. He then gradually moved up the ladder into leading group operations and strategic business management, marketing and development. His last 10 years in the private sector was as CEO of Serendip Leisure Management. He is also credited with transforming one of the group's hotels at Hotel Sergio into a well-known eco-friendly hotel during his tenure as CEO. For his efforts, he was awarded the Green Jobs Award in 2008 by the government of Sri Lanka. Mr. Srilal has also had a considerable exposure in the international hospitality arena, participating and presenting papers in many international symposiums, workshops, and travel fairs, particularly in the Asia-Pacific region. He was the president of the Tourist Hotels Association of Sri Lanka. He also led the very successful EU-funded Switch Asia Greening Sri Lanka Hotels project administered by the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, which was Sri Lanka's main tourism sustainability platform from 2010 to 2014. Recently, he has been appointed to the board of the Asian Ecotourism Network. Now he engages in various consultancy assignments and sustainable tourism development, environment and wildlife, including several leading NGOs. A short stint with a World Bank project in India. He is now a consultant to the ADB and also the USAID project ULEAD in Sri Lanka and MDF, the Australian Multi-Country Aid Agency. Mr. Srilal has also been a visiting guest lecturer at the Plymouth University, UK, and Monash University of Melbourne. He also conducts various trainings, workshops, and sustainable consumption practices, gives lectures and presentations on sustainability, wildlife, environment to schools and other organizations. He has been the keynote speaker at various and several ecotourism, tourism, and sustainable tourism forums. He is a fellow of both the Institute and Electrical Engineers UK and the fellow of the Institute of Hospitality UK. It's a pleasure, sir, to have you along with us. A person of your stature, the more we introduce, the less it is. We're really honored, sir, including me and all my team members and participants to have you for today's session. Thank you, sir.
Sir, your mic is muted. No, sir, we cannot hear you, sir. You are muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Siddharth and Dr. Vandita, for that very, very generous, more than generous introduction. I'm very happy and honored to participate once again in one of your programs. It has been a pleasure working with you all, and I look forward to talking to you and your participants for the next 35-40 minutes or so on a subject that is very passionate to me. Yeah. So can we go into the presentation straight away? Is that all right?
Yes, sir. Sure. Sir, is the screen visible?
Yes, no, it's not visible as yet. It was visible a little while ago.
Just a moment.
You have shared the screen. It is visible, but the PPT is not visible.
Just give
You had
me a
shared the
moment.
screen. The shared screen was visible, but the
Yes, sir.
PowerPoint presentation. Yeah.
So now is it visible?
Yes.
Yes, yes, right. You can launch it now.
Okay, sir, sure.
So when I started talking about this with when Madam Vandita spoke to me, I thought it's a nice, interesting topic to talk about sustainability after COVID and what it will do to tourism. So my discussion today will cover basically a little bit of sustainability, just to put it in context, why it is important. Then we look at what the impact of COVID has been to all of us. And then what are the post-COVID tourism trends we are seeing? And what are the benefits of sustainable tourism? And what are the sustainable consumption practices in the tourism industry, especially in our region? And then look at as sustainability the way forward. Yes, Vandita. So next slide. So what is sustainability? Next slide, please. Okay. I know
Is it
I'm
visible,
talking.
sir?
Yes, that's okay, fine.
Okay, sir.
I know I'm talking to many academics in this audience. I am not really an academic, but I have dabbled a little bit with academia when I was teaching the final year students of the Plymouth University tourism degree, which was held in Sri Lanka. But my forte is practical operations and management. So, to make it very clear, what is sustainable development, tourism development? It's tourism that takes full account of its current and future. Two important words there. It looks at the current and the future of the economic, social, and environmental impacts. So you're looking at the current and the future environmental, culture, economic, and social needs, and addressing the needs of the visitors and the industry in such a way that it takes into account the current and future impact. So that's the important thing, that sustainability looks inwards and outwards, both. Yes, next slides, please. It's a bit slow in transition, isn't it?
Sir, is it visible now?
No, the second one is not visible, but I can actually launch my one here and manage. If you all can see it, I'm fine. Can you all see it?
Uh, Audience, our team, can everybody see this?
Actually, the slide, what is sustainable tourism development, that slide is visible.
Yeah, that it has
Okay.
not gone to the next slide.
Okay, just a moment.
Ah, right. Okay,
Yes, now it's
fine.
visible. Yes.
Okay.
So looking at, forgetting all the formal definitions, if you just look at the reality of sustainable tourism, it's a balance of conservation, business, and the local involvement, that is the locals. So this is very important that it's a balance. All three are essential for sustainability. Now, many of my environment friends, we gone one slide before. I'm still on the previous slide, please. Uh, we are talking about a balance. because it's important that many people forget, like the environmentalists think we must not have tourism, we must not have the business of tourism and only protect the environment. But sustainability in its real sense talks about the balance. You have to have develop the tourism business, you have to get the local involvement, and you have to have conservation. So the next slide, we have already gone into that, I think, right? Now where are we? Yeah, planet, profit, people. That's another way of looking at sustainability in a simple way. Sustainability has a lot of connotations. It's a nice subject to talk about. So a lot of people have made up nice things. So PPP, planet, people, profit. Still the same thing. Look after the local people, look after the environment, and look after your business. But don't develop one at the cost of the other. Next slide, please. So sustainable tourism is also about preventing, reducing the damage, protecting, safeguarding, and enhancing for the future. Now that part came about lately into sustainability. They said preventing and safeguarding is not enough. You must enrich for the future. So those are the important aspects, and all those aspects must be covered in environment, culture, social aspects, and the community. Yes, next slide. So sustainability really covers everything we talk about in today's context. It covers biodiversity, climate change, energy conservation, carbon emissions, global warming, deforestation, everything. So those are the foundations on which sustainability has been built. So that's why it's so important that if you get your sustainable consumption practices right, you are covering all these things. You are attacking biodiversity, you are attacking global warming, etc. Next slide. What are the types of sustainability? Now you have different types of different types of tourism. You have mass tourism, you have ecotourism, you have nature tourism, all kinds of stuff. But I believe all kinds of tourisms can be sustainability because it's a practice, it's a way of life, it's a habit. So whatever tourism you're in, it can be at least in some way sustainable. Next slide, please. So as I told you, there are different nomenclature when it comes to sustainability. You talk about ecotourism, which is a niche market, a smaller market. Sustainable tourism is actually the overarching practice, and responsible tourism is actually the behavior of people, which encompasses everything. So many people, when I was teaching at Plymouth, the slide has not gone forward yet. That's right. So don't get confused. When I was doing the subject for the final year students, this was a common confusion. What is responsible travel? What is sustainable tourism? What is ecotourism? So ecotourism is a smaller segment. So that's where it lies. This is what I developed. If you look at the purple circle is sustainable tourism. Ecotourism has to be within the purple circle. It has to be 100% sustainable. Wildlife, nature tourism has to be sustainable. Adventure tourism to a great extent. That's why that circle is partly cutting it. Now, conventional tourism is very difficult when you have a large number of people to have sustainable consumption practices, because there will be damage to the environment, there will be damage to the surrounding infrastructure. So, conventional tourism, when I mean conventional, I mean mass market tourism, is a bit difficult to bring in completely inside the purple circle of sustainability. But it can come in partly. And right round it is the circle of responsible tourism. So, as I told you, there are a lot of uh, nice things people have coined, like the 3 Ps, 3 Rs: reduce, recycle, reuse. Now they have gone to 7 Rs: rethink, refuse, reduce, repurpose, refuse, recycle, and rot. So these are word players. I just put it up for completion's sake. Next slide, please. So sustainable, I'll stop talking because the slide seems to be getting delayed to come. So sustainable consumption practices in any business, be it tourism or anything else, is a balancing of the inputs and outputs. Any business needs certain resources to function, to make the business successful. So in the sector of tourism, we take electricity, we take gas, we take food items. We jumped to, I think there's a little bit, anyway, it doesn't matter. You will, that's right. So we have electricity, gas, food, and water. Tourism takes that and turns it into very important revenues and foreign exchange. But there's a lot of waste. We cause air pollution, we cause a lot of waste, water pollution, and soil. So the whole mantra is reduce, recycle, and reuse. This another, the next slide is another, 2 slides went, that's right. That is another way of looking at sustainability, the new ways. In the original days, we called sustainability is all about conservation. But as I told you, latterly they brought the future. You must not only safeguard, but you must enrich. So they said cradle to grave. That means if you take something, use it in such a way that until its end, you look after it and don't uh, dispose of it. And then they have gone even to a greater extent of saying cradle to cradle. That means you complete the complete circle. It's very difficult, really, to do that. You will have some waste, but that's the name of the way they have put it. And one last thing before we go out of next slide, please. That's the latest takeoff on sustainability, circular economy. Before we take, make, use, dispose, and pollute. Now they're saying you make, use, reuse, remake, and recycle. So it's a circular thing. This is what, in simple terms, people talk about these nice words, but they are fundamentally still talking about taking care of your waste and reducing your waste, and be careful of what you do in your business so that you don't damage the environment, you don't cause problems to the locality and the people and the community, and you keep the destination safe for the future. So I think I spoke enough about sustainability. Now let's go to the next slide to talk about COVID. I know we all had COVID. We were locked down. I was in Australia when they locked down. Australia was paranoid. We couldn't go out. It was very strict. I had to quarantine when I went in for For 14 days, I couldn't even open the room door. So, we went through a very difficult time. Social isolation, mental depression, a lot of us, even I was finding it very difficult to stay in that hotel room for 14 days without seeing anyone. Anxiety, uh, changes in lifestyle. Obviously, you couldn't meet your friends, your loved ones. There was no physical activity possible. Unhealthy eating habits. Sleep was disrupted. Family life was disrupted because when you're cooped in a place with your own people and have no outside interaction, it can lead to stress and arguments and things like that. So there was psychological distress, unstable financial circumstances. Some people work from home, and of course schools for those people who had children. It was a nightmare. So all these things had a big impact on people, and it gave people a lot of time to think inwards. Why have they? Why has this calamity befallen us? What happened? And many people came to realize that this is our own doing. We have not safeguarded our environment. We have spoilt it. We have degenerated it. We have ruined it. And through that only, this COVID virus has developed. So there's a lot of inward thought that went into people during this lockdown period. Next slide, please. So when the lockdown was over, as it is now in many parts, people are becoming free to travel. There's no more stress. But there's a lot of concern for environment. Many people who were before not very concerned about environment are becoming concerned. They want to look at local things. They're not interested in the big picture. They want to look at local. They want to understand what is happening in the environment. I am not saying that everyone has transformed like this. No way. I'll be very foolish if I say so. But many people who are not that interested in environment are now beginning to have a look at environment in a different way. That is the message. Next slide, please. So there have been some studies done of the trends that people are looking for after tourism, after COVID, sorry. People are looking for more outdoor activity. These are surveys done in European countries. People are looking for outdoors. People are looking for nature. Remember, I told you, they are all coming out of a stressful situation, having gone through a very tumultuous time. They want to interact with nature. They want to enjoy nature. They want to immerse themselves. They want to participate in what they are seeing. They want the real thing. They don't want bogus facade of tourism. They want authenticity. And they don't want too much of customized mass market travel. I want to do this. So can I do this and this and this and not this? Tailor-made. So that's a very interesting trends that are coming out. Next slide, please. So the traveler on the one side is needing freedom. He wants to explore environment. So all these things of sustainable tourism are matching his new needs. The new needs of the new traveler is adventure, nature, experiential travel, authenticity, customized, all what we talked about are satisfying the new customer needs. So that is where my hypothesis, my argument is. There are a lot of tourists, not all, quite a few who are thinking about the environment. So then some of these elements of sustainable tourism clearly match and provide satisfaction to this new traveler. Next slide, please, Vandita. The next slide is something, yes, okay. So even before COVID, people were interested in sustainable and nature. This is important to note. I am only saying that this segment seems to have improved, increased, because before COVID, in Britain, people about 81% were saying they like to go and experience sustainability. So important to note that this is not something new. It was there in a big way, but after COVID, it seems to have grown. Next slide. The next slide is a little bit of interaction I had with academia, with a colleague of mine, Dr. Chandana, who is a professor in Toronto. We developed a model called the Evolving Tourist Expectation Model. We said it's ETM. We designed it around Maslow's needs hierarchy. What we said was, when a tourist starts traveling for the first time, he's only worried about getting the cheapest price and going somewhere. First time case. Once he starts traveling second, third time, he's looking for a better room. I want a bigger room. I want good food. I want facilities, Wi-Fi, various things. Beyond that, he starts developing. He wants environmentally sustainable operations. What is this hotel doing with their waste? What are they doing with their water? He starts to look at these things. Are they treating nature properly? This destination I'm going to. And then they start demanding for it. And finally, a very mature tourist really willing to pay top dollar for this experience. So we developed this. So the important thing is, while the expectations go up, on the right hand side, you can see the spend or the spending of a tourist also goes up. When he's at a basic level, he wants cheap prices. But when he's more developed, he's more enriched, he looks for a better product, which is more sustainable, and is willing to pay a little bit more. Next slide. So there are several factors why we should be practicing sustainability in a tourism environment. One is ethical, but unfortunately not many businesses can be ethical. But if the CEO or the board of directors are very ethical, they could be governed by ethical and practices. There's a demand from the market. As I showed you, 81% of tourists before COVID were looking at sustainability. So there's a push from outside. So this is a very strong force, because market businesses will change when the market pushes them, right? So if it is going to bring in better revenue and profitability, certainly people will start embracing sustainability. And when you embrace sustainability, you can market yourself and be a competitive destination. You can be much more competitive. You can differentiate. So you have an edge over your competition. And larger corporations tend to follow this because it's good. And I think in India also, now in annual reports of public quoted companies, you have an environmental report included with the annual report, which is as important. Next slide. So the practices around environment conservation looks at small scale, low intensity situations. Remember I told you that large scale market tourism finds it very difficult to be sustainable. So small scale, low intensity situations. Next slide. So the mantra is sustainable consumption practices. Next slide. Which looks at energy conservation, water conservation, solid waste management, and air pollution. Right, next slide. Now let's look at some examples of practices of overuse, where tourism, I told you, is uses a lot of resources. Electricity. Our hotels are really energy guzzlers. We have so many lights in our hotels, and now the newer, smaller hotels, you can see, have back to basics. Even some don't have air conditioning. Less lights, natural lighting. So this is the move from high intensity consumption to low intensity consumption, which the market is now beginning to like. Next slide. The other area is air conditioning. Here in Asia, we love to air conditioning. We have conference halls all closed up, lights all on, and air conditioner going full. The second picture is a picture from Sigiriya Hotel, where I was CEO for 10 years. We won a lot of awards. It's a resort hotel, not a city hotel, where we built a small conference hall outside in the garden, amidst the trees. We had an air conditioner, but we offered the guests, look, we are in a very natural surrounding. If you don't draw the drapes, you get lovely sunlight. You are in a secluded area. No one will disturb you except the birds. So if you want the air conditioner, we will put it on. And I can tell you, for the 8 or 9 years we had this thing going, very few clients ask for air conditioning. Next slide. Unfortunately, some areas need a lot of water. Hotels have golf courses. People like to play golf. Remember sustainability. Always the principles. It is not saying don't have golf courses. It doesn't say that. Yes, tourists want golf courses. Yes, let's give them the golf course. But the golf courses need water, large amounts of water. So what do? Try to find ground sources of water. Try to recycle your water from the sewerage, and then you can use that. So this is again, remember the fundamental things. It does not say, oh, golf. No, we don't want golf. No way. If the tourism market demands it, you have to find ways, sustainable ways of giving it. Next slide, please. Tourists demand a lot of fresh foods. So in Sri Lanka, I don't know about India. Sri Lanka is, right now, we're having a lot of problems. But even before that, good fruits are in big demand for tourist hotels. So this affects the locals. Now this is where the third dimension of sustainability comes in. Because there's such a demand for good fruits, locals find it difficult to get good food. So you are now affecting the balance of the local community, who start getting angry that they have to pay very high prices for fruit. Next slide. Sri Lankan crabs are very, very popular, especially in the Negombo region. But do you know that we can't get a good crab even if you pay a large amount of money? Because everything, almost everything, is exported to Singapore. The crabs are caught overnight, frozen. There's a 6 o'clock flight, direct flight from Sri Lankan, on Sri Lankan Airlines to Singapore. The crabs go there and they are ready for lunch at Clarke Quay by 12 noon. So that is what has happened to our crabs because of tourism demands. Next slide. The same thing happens for prawns, shrimps, a big demand. They are harvested and mostly sold to local hotels. So this has become, which prawns was those days something very, very cheap. The normal villager used to just buy it, not as a gourmet food. But today, because of tourism, it has become an exclusive food, and the locals are not having to enjoy this. Next slide. Lobsters, great demand again. But this is another thing about environment. Sri Lankans don't eat too much lobsters. Because of the demand, the divers go and pick small lobsters. So now in the hotel industry, when I was president, we decided that we won't buy lobsters less than 500 grams from vendors, so that you force the guys who are going to catch the lobsters not to catch the smaller ones, so that they grow big and they spawn, and then only they are caught. So this is another way how larger companies who are doing sustainable consumption practices can push the supply chain also to be sustainable. Next slide. Air pollution is something very difficult to manage on long haul trips. There's a lot of carbon emissions. So unfortunately, that's something we can't do about. But travelers can buy carbon credits and reduce some of the carbon that they are emanating. About 4%, I think, of all air travel amounts to global warming. Those days, I think in India also we had smaller buses where the tourists go in a small bus and the bags come in a lorry behind it. So two vehicles burning petrol or diesel. But thankfully now you have the bigger buses where at the bottom you can put the luggage, so you reduce your footprint, your impact on the environment. So these are practical things which I'm just explaining to you. Next slide. Waste management is a big problem. Hotels emanate a lot of waste, and you have to try and recycle and reuse some of these things or send it to a recycling plant. It's very difficult for hotels to do the full cycle, as I told you, of the cyclic economy or cradle to cradle. But at least what you're throwing, reduce it and manage it. Next slide. Same thing with garbage. We tend to have landfills which cause a lot of environmental damage. There are two places in Sri Lanka, outside Colombo, in the remote areas, where wild elephants come to garbage dumps and they eat some of these things which are not good, and a few elephants have died. So it's disrupting the environment because of bad consumption practices. Next slide. Sewerage was a very bad situation in Sri Lanka before. Now, thanks to some support from the ADB and EU, we have got a lot of soft loans to make to install sewage treatment plants, because in Sri Lanka, outside Colombo, you don't have sewage systems, so you have to take care of your own sewage. So you treat the sewage, and most good companies who are in the forefront of sustainable consumption practices do have recycling of their water, which is used for gardening. Next para. Next, next slide. Plastics has a big impact on marine pollution. A lot of tourist hotels are located along the beach, and some of the refuse gets landed into the ocean, and marine mammals suffer quite a lot because of this. Next slide. And out of plastics, single-use plastics are the worst because you can't recycle. You use it once, like straws. I was very happy to see this when I was doing my little research on the internet for the talk, when I found that India has banned single-use plastics. Sri Lanka has not yet, but there's a lot of talk. But the hotels have taken it on themselves, the Colombo hotels, and said by 2003, I think, that they will phase out all single-use plastics. Next slide. So those are some of the aspects of pollution. Let's look at the products and services that we should then provide to this tourist who is coming looking for sustainability, especially post-COVID. And let's see some examples. Next slide. I said tailor-made, less crowded, families. So travel agents must know, must decide. No longer can you shove them into a bus with a guide. They want to explore. Small groups, family groups, friends, less crowded. Find new sites. Don't go to the overcrowded places. More private excursions are necessary in this new environment. Next slide. As I said, mass tourism is really on the way out. When you got down from the airport, you had a guide with a flag. This is your bus. Numbers 1 to 5, get down, get in here. 20, get into this bus. You get down. This is a monument. On the right hand side is another monument. No, that's not acceptable now. People want to explore on their own. Less traffic, smaller groups, as I told you, off the beaten track is very vital. Next para. Next slide, please. Sorry. Because of this situation where we were stuck and we were under stress, people are looking for a relief, and people are looking a lot for wellness, yoga, authenticity, nature, spirituality. And that's where our parts can score. Sri Lanka, Kerala, a lot of Ayurveda, which tourism is looking for now, especially in the post-COVID climate. Next slide. So as I told you, yes, Ayurveda is very popular. Kerala is very popular. Sri Lanka is now beginning to take this seriously. We had it for a long time, just like India. We have our old doctors, but anyway, it's beginning to take grip in Sri Lanka. Meditation, massage, floral baths, etc. Next slide. Next slide, please. As I told you, you have to get the local community involved. Now, this is something we started in that particular hotel I spoke to you about, where I was CEO. This was my idea, that you take a small group of tourists, not large numbers, 6 to 10. You take them to a nearby village. You brief the villagers that they are coming, and just a little bit of training in cleanliness, but nothing else is to be changed. They go to the thatched roof house, they stay with the villagers, they go to the village plot of vegetables, see the vegetables being harvested, bring it back, cook it on the hearth, on the open fire, no gas, and then the most important thing, you eat on a leaf, on a lotus leaf, with your hand, fingers, no cutlery. So this is authenticity. This is what I talk about, that it is authenticity, and you have to promote this. And this was very popular. People used to pay $40 extra and line up to go on this excursion. And we used to take, as I told you, not more than 10 at a time. Next slide, please. So these are some simple ideas. I will go quickly because I think time is tight. This is another thing. As in the introduction, I like wildlife and particularly elephants. I have done some serious research. And there's a jumbo weekend we promoted. We get a tame elephant, we bring people and have a jumbo weekend. So that was very popular when tourist traffic was low among Sri Lankans. Next slide. Next slide, please. This is a lovely little 5-bedroomed attached accommodation unit. It won a lot of awards, but just look at it. This is what people are paying for. No air conditioning, just some solar lights, but the experience. Next slide. This is an idea. I'm not saying that everything has to be back to basics. This is high end, very high end, $300, $400, but like a village. So you are living in beautiful thatched huts. The insides are luxurious. There is air conditioning, but you are back to nature. Next slide. So look at lastly, marketing. So doing all these things is not enough. You have to market it. Sustainability has to be marketed. Next slide. This is from India. I think it's one of the most wonderful advertisements. Who on earth advertises rain? You tell people don't come. It's a monsoon season. But Kerala took it to another extreme. Come, enjoy the monsoon. Sometimes it takes a little water to kindle the fire. Beautiful ad. Next para. Next slide, please. Next slide. Right now, Sri Lanka is going through a downturn. There are hardly any tourists. Now, this is one way you can promote it. Yes, we are having some problems. Be honest. But this is the best time to come to Sri Lanka. You can have the whole beach for yourself. Sustainability. It's all about promoting it. Next slide. Last few slides. Wildlife. Sri Lanka beckons. The picture talks. You don't need too many words. Next. This is something I saw in Costa Rica when I went many years ago. It's a lodge up in the mountains. It's a cloud forest. I have enlarged that and showed you. They advertise and say all our rooms do not have air conditioning. The sounds of the jungle and the cool, misty air is enough for you. Our food is what a Costa Rican grandmother would cook. We don't have pipe music in our lodge. Can you imagine a hotel advertising this on their website? I thought it was out of this world. And the bottom line is their minimum rate was about $300. I'm talking about 8 years ago. $300, and still you have to wait for 2 months to get a booking. That is the success story of sustainability. Last 3 slides quickly. Greenwashing. You must be careful that when you do sustainability, you can get into greenwashing. Next slide. That is just trying to show that you're doing some sustainable activities, like putting some patch-up work, but not really doing it from the heart. Be very careful. If you get caught, it can be very serious. Next slide. It can mislead customers, and today with a smartphone, people will take the photograph and you can get plastered and you can lose market share big time. Next slide. So that is something from the web where Hilton was found out, and even Marriott. I was surprised because Marriott is fairly a good company who has good sustainable practices, has had some problems. You can check the links and read for yourself. Next slide, please. This is another absolute top-class greenwashing thing. Every hotel has this. But you ask the housekeeper, how much are you saving? They don't know. So this is the problem. I have tested in some hotels. I purposely keep the towel in the basket. Sorry, I keep it on the rack saying that I don't want it laundered. But when I come into the room, they have replaced the towel. So this is one of the dangerous areas of greenwashing. Lastly, next slide. So sustainability is really a practice. It's not about looking after the environment. It makes good business sense, good marketing sense, and good financial sense. Next slide. I always end up. So even before COVID, sustainability was important. After COVID, definitely the future has to be sustainability. Next slide. I always end up my presentations with the Mahatma's quotation. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way it treats its animals and environment. Next slide. So thank you very much for listening to me. I hope it was useful, and I look forward that it would have made some impact on you all in your future work, studies, and as a person. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, Vandita, you're muted.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you so much for such an enlightening session. We have a few questions which our audience has posted.
Okay.
Sir, we will just take up a few. So, one question has been asked that we all know about the current crisis that Sri Lanka is facing.
Yeah.
So, when we consider the future of Sri Lanka, especially the future of tourism,
Yeah.
so are there any measures that are being taken at this moment? Anything that is being planned? Though
Okay.
it's too early and right now,
Yeah.
like everything is pretty deep in crisis, but
Yeah. It
still,
is
if
bleak.
they, yeah,
It is bleak because it's an economic crisis. So I have been actually yesterday also I was at the tourist board with the chairman. The important thing is this is an economic crisis. Sri Lanka has faced terrorism before, which was a security crisis. Now this time, very clearly, it's nothing to do with us. It's just that there are shortages. There is power cuts. Right now, I'm working on a generator because I don't want the power to go off when I'm halfway through the presentation, right? So like that. So very interestingly, the response from tourists have been that they are sorry for us. They feel sorry. They empathize with us. So that's why I feel this time, if the government can get these food shortages, fuel shortages sorted out, Sri Lanka tourism will bounce back big time. So there's no issue that way. We have to only keep, from the marketing side, we have to only keep our travel agents and guests through social media informed that we are okay, everything is fine, hotels are looking good, we are looking after it, we are ready for you to come. Like that slide I showed you. You can have the beach for yourself. And mind you, for last month, we had something like 25,000 tourists still coming, right? So there are tourists who are coming, right? So that's the answer quickly.
yes, sir. Sir, regarding the tourists, as you have mentioned, there is also a question like who are these tourists? Which countries are, I mean, which are those people who are traveling to Sri Lanka at this moment?
Yeah, right now
The
it's your country.
nationalities of the
Yeah, your
tourists.
country,
Yes.
India. Indians are
Okay.
still coming. They're number one. I'm happy to say. British, German, China was number one. But as you know, China is locked down. So right now it's India, UK, Germany, to a lesser extent France. Unfortunately, Asia is not traveling that much. But certainly during normal times, number one, China, number two, India, number three, Europe. That's the market that we have. So the Asian market has to be developed. That's something we have to work on because Asian mentality is that they like to go to a Western country, right? So you have to wait for that evolving tourist model. Asians who have gone and seen Disneyland, now they are ready to come to a sustainable destination. Maybe that's my take.
So we have another last question
Yes.
uh, regarding adopting sustainable practices and destinations. Always a question comes with pertaining to the funding of it all.
Yeah.
So how can the funding be arranged from an industry
Good.
perspective if
Very
we
good
try to
question.
answer this? Yeah.
It's two-pronged, right? Now, when I was doing the Switch Asia program for Sri Lanka hotels, there is low-hanging fruit and there are large projects, right? So if you do a good walkthrough audit in any hotel, I'm sure you can find about 10 items, low cost, low tech, things you can do, right? So those things are very doable. I'll take quickly one example. When we went for an audit of a hotel, we were watching. Audit means you watch. We saw the chef going and opening the walk-in freezer. He opens the freezer, and now it's too cold to go inside. So he's waiting outside and looking at what he has. And in a paper, he's writing the menu out. Now the freezer is at minus 6 degrees. The outside kitchen is at 32 degrees. And he's preparing the menu for 20 minutes. Just imagine the energy loss. So all we did was told the management, buy him a suit, which is, like those overalls, right? And you go into the freezer, close the room, and do your work and come out. Or we suggested having a plastic curtain so that the temperature doesn't, like an air curtain. So simple things like that. So there are two ways. One is the low-hanging fruit, very easily done. Anyone can do it, low cost. The bigger projects, of course, need banking support. In Sri Lanka, there were several banks who were giving soft loans for environmental activities. I'm sure India also has some schemes like that. They are called green finance, where you apply and get a very discounted interest rate for a long period with a good grace. Of course, you have to put up a very good project report, show the benefits. There's a process involved, but it's still worthwhile.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering all the questions so very patiently.
Right.
Sir, we would have loved listening to you for a longer period of time, but then the clock has ticked on and we have to conclude this session.
Yes.
So thank you very much, sir, for
Yeah.
accepting our invite to this FDP. And thank you for giving us a very solid background on what sustainable tourism is all about.
Yeah.
And we really love the way you have differentiated between what is sustainable tourism and what is regenerative tourism.
Right.
I'm sorry, what is sustainable tourism and what is responsible tourism?
Yeah.
Sustainable tourism being the practice, and responsible tourism is about the tourist behavior.
Yeah.
So
Big picture.
that is something we really loved about your presentation, sir.
Right.
And thank you for describing to us the COVID-19 lockdown consequences, the post-COVID-19 response, and what are the post-COVID tourism trends, and how exactly COVID-19 transformed the traveler needs all over the world and literally forced all of us to embrace sustainable tourism practices. So after COVID-19, as you rightly said, it's definitely sustainability. And so also you have mentioned regarding the evolving tourist expectation model. And we really like the examples which you have given regarding overuse of resources and the tourist products and services that embrace sustainability. Traditional examples, I think all of us we are aware of, but you have given us very unique examples from especially regarding the demand for fruits in Sri Lanka, then demand for Sri Lankan crab exports, lobster exports. So every keeping all that in mind, sir, thank you once again for taking out time for today's session. And we hope to, carry this association far into the future.
Good. I'm very happy to do that. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank
All
you
the
very
best.
much, sir.
All the best.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
So participants, we have another session coming up, that is tour guiding post-pandemic, and our guest of the resource person for this 8th session is Dr. Gul Erkol Bayram. She has already joined and we will start in another 2 minutes. So please sit back and we will start with the session soon. Ma'am, are we audible to you?
Yes, ma'am. Greetings. Merhaba.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Merhaba. Hello.
Ma'am, we will just start it another 1 minute after the introduction. So today we are very honored and privileged to have with us Dr. Gul Erkol Bayram, all the way from Turkey. She is the associate professor at the Sinop University, Turkey, with the School of Tourism and Hospitality Management. She has completed her PhD with Sakarya University. Her research interests lie in the area of tourism management, policy and planning, organizational behavior, and especially tour guiding. And that's what she's going to talk about, enlighten us all today. And she is also the editorial board member of the IJA SRW Journal, and she has got research papers with high number of citations. So, heartiest welcome to you, ma'am, and you may kindly proceed with your session, ma'am.
Thank you so much, dear Professor Vandita ma'am, and all dear members of this wonderful event. Today, I am so happy to be with you in this very fruitful event. And immediately, I would like to continue with my presentation. I would like to show my presentation. Yes, I hope you are see well.
Yes, ma'am, your presentation is visible. Yes.
Okay. Okay, Professor, and I will start. Firstly, maybe we can start with the most basic definition with the meaning of tourism and hospitality. Tourism composed of four main parts, and these are food and service management, and one of them tour and travel management, and accommodation and hospitality management, and also recreation management. Hospitality and tourism is a massive and collective industry consisting of tourism and other hospitality business. And also tourism companies are technically considered, there are different stakeholders also. And all hospitality business, even those residing outside of the tourism sector, we have many stakeholders in this part also. Yes, and then tourism, one of the important part is tour and travel management is the main markets of the tour guides also, and maybe we can look at the meaning of tour guides. Tour guides, there are different meaning of this, and there are different dimensions of this, but one of them is, the first one is being a leader, being a good leader in the tourism industry, because he leads the group, and also he composed of many different parts of this. And also tour guides, a person who visits with some tourist groups in his or her own language. In my country, Turkey, being a tour guide has a different dimensions. Firstly, maybe one of them gaining a language level. For example, if you choose a language, and it is not in mother language also, you can have a national degree from some exams. One of them maybe is TOEFL or IELTS is possible. And a tour guide is a person who provides assistance, information, and cultural and historical and contemporary heritage to people. In organized sightseeing by tour management. And tour guide is usually a local local people. It is so possible to identify with this term because tour guide is a bridge between tourists and community, because he mentioned about the culture of local people to tourist groups. For example, in Turkey, we have welcoming many different touristic groups, and it is so vital to introduce about our culture to different tourist groups. For example, tourists maybe come from Canada or USA or many parts of the world, but we have a spatial cultural, and if they want to be a tour guide in a Turkey, she or he firstly know how to behave to local group. Yes. And another is for being a tour guide, we have some educational or training equipments requirements. Firstly, we have a high school diploma or equivalent. In different countries, even if it differs from country to country, in generally, we have some basic rules for being a tour guide on behalf of education and training. One of them is, the first one is, we have high school diploma and related education level. Also, we have know at least 2 different languages except from our mother languages also. It is so important. Which reason is so important? Because a tour guide means being is a leader who organizes his group, and this group mainly composed of with international tourists. So it is so important to know different languages. And tour guides also need some educational level for knowing his country or his natural and historical beauty. In my country, Turkey, if you want to be a tour guide, you have a requirement to see and visit all parts of in Turkey, all area in Turkey. For example, before being a tour guide, someone should visit Sultanahmet, Ayasofya, Anıtkabir, Antalya, and other parts of the world. And also, we have some personal requirements for being a tour guide. Firstly, one of the first one is we have high capacity to stand and walk for many hours, because we, as a tour guide, we start our jobs from very early in the day, and we finish our jobs in the very late in the evening. So we should very healthy, we should very happy for this. Also, we have excellent conversational skills, communication skills. And another one is we have very good at storytelling. I would like to say that these dimensions also has a big potential to make another presentation. If we want to explain, for example, storytelling, we should make another presentation for this, because it is a big important component. And also, a tour guide has outstanding organizational and time management, and also improvisational skills. Tour guides has passionate about traveling, and tour guides love his job or her job so much. Tour guides have some roles of in travel industry also. Firstly, maybe one of them being aware his or her cultural beauties, because if we want to be a tour guide, firstly, we love our culture so much. And also we have a little amusing behavior and amusing tones. We tell our stories, our history with an interesting one, with funny stories, because our tellings attract to tourists so much. We have different types from other tour guides, because in a tourism market there are many tour guides. I would like to express different professional tour guides in Turkey, and they are very good at telling some important information about our country. But the main dimensions from another tour guide is telling stories or telling important things with differently. As a guide, we are not only responsible for our guests, but also we need to consider other stakeholders. Stakeholder means tourism management, and also this differ from, for example, food and beverage management, recreation management, travel management, accommodation management. And I mentioned before that tour guides are bridge between tourists and community. And also I say same things. Tour guide is a bridge between stakeholders and tourists. It is important. One of the other dimensions that it is important to know our role as a tour guide in the tourism industry, promoting something in a Turkey or in other country, promoting role for sustainable tourism. Because if we want to tell some natural beauty or some cultural beauty in our country, a group maybe requests for the next trip or next visitation, and we can lead to revisitation intention also. It is another important type. And we need to take care about natural and environment. And we can have a look at the history of tour guiding, because tour guiding has different types of, and maybe he can relate, sorry, it can relate it with other types of tourism. Firstly, we can start with the development of tour guiding in the world, and in ancient age, middle age, and the new age, and the modern age also. Guidance in the ancient age starts with a professional types. Yes, this is true, and many touristic groups can visit to some places on the idea of migrations, or maybe some battles or trade caravans, and also maybe one of them is Silk Road, and visit to sacred places, and it comes from religious tourism and land and sea voyages also. And the history of travel started to take shape in the early age, when the nomadic societies started to settle, and issues such as shopping, trade, religion formed the reason for the first travel. The travel event that started in the early age gained momentum with the invention of the wheel by the Sumerians. And the first guides in the written sources in the world are Egyptian price, because religious tourism is one of the most tourism types in the history. And also after this, the first organized group travels which took place with the Olympic Games from German communities, Greek communities, sorry, and it started in the 17th century. The Olympic Games were the beginning of organized travels, brought tourist guidance and with them also. The Historia, whose author is Herodotus, is considered to be the beginning of the travel writing because it has been completely preserved. For this reason, historian and geographer Herodotus, born and raised in Anatolia, and he was one of the first interpretative guides who learned and transferred the custom and traditions of the places he visited between 2080s and 4080s and 4021. Strabon and Pausanias are two famous guides in the Roman times because he expressed different types and different unseenable parts of our history. He visited many parts around the world and he tells his books about this. In ancient Greek, two words were used for a guide. This is perigetai, and meaning to walk around, and the exegetai, and which means explaining and exploring also. It can be said that organized travels that started hundreds of years before Greece were most likely during the times of Assyrians, Greeks, Egyptians, and Romans. Generally, organized travel during these periods were made for military, commercial, and administrative reasons. The general opinion is that travels made since the early age are for trade, sports, and religion. However, in addition to these reasons, excursions were organized for curiosity and research purposes, and experience guides were used during these trips. During the Roman time, there was a significant increase in the tourist travels because some reasons, and one of them is trade, and the other one is increasing welfare during the community, and the other one is road networks also improved, and the security has increased, and the Roman money was valid everywhere, and money for money is so important in history and also in present. Traveling different parts around the world is so easy and normal by Roman period. And Anatolian coast also took the necessary share from these travel events that developed during the Roman period. Troy became a major tourism center in the imperial age, and it has been seen as a necessity for the tourists visiting this place to participate in guided tours so that they do not miss any details. In the Middle Age, crusades in the Middle Age constitute the first example of wide organized travel in terms of large mass movements. And although in a primitive way, transportation, accommodation, and guidance facilities started to be offered and developed. Agencies wishing to serve passengers wishing to travel during this period would organize daily excursions and excursions for a fee week or over trips. And in such travel organization, it is possible to see almost all of tour elements of our age, such as transportation, accommodation, food and beverage, and security and guidance in a primitive way. Even in the medieval world, tour guides were defined as people who assumed duties such as teaching, such as being a leader and organizing group membership to foreigners, and creating a positive image by changing parasites and organizing false information told by travelers. By the beginning of 17th century, a new concept in terms of tourism and travel emerged, and maybe in this event, everyone knows a little about this, the Grand Tour. And also we can identify it as a big tour is actually a tour organized for the children of the British elite to complete their education in some cities. The Greek tour, which started in the 16th century and became widespread in the 17th century, include the important cities of continental Europe. We can express France, Germany, Italy, and etc. And those who participated in this journey seriously needed guidance services. And this needed for being a guide services was initially provided by the teachers of British nobiliat. And in the 17th century, anyone who wanted to be considered a high society or to be privileged felt compelled to travel abroad. In other words, tourism meaning a privileged way of life as it was in the Roman period, and generally the trendy tourism product of this period was thermal springs. In the New Age, industrialization has emerged with the Industrial Revolution since the 17th century, and the dense population accumulation in the cities and the heavy working peace have led to desire of people to take time and themselves to rest. And Thomas Cook is important in the tour guiding history because he's a profession as a tour organizer. He composed of different holders and different parts of the package tour, including tour guiding services, and he also was one of the primitive tour guides in the history and organized tour events. In the 20th century, comfort, speed, low cost in the services such as transportation, accommodation have also increased travel organization. With the curiosity, relaxation, and entertainment needs of people, tourism movements have accelerated and tourism awareness has started to form. During these times of mass tourism, cultural interpretations and transfers during travels have now become a professional business. And licensed tour guides are trained in correct interpretation, transfer of many cultural and archaeological values of tourists today. And maybe we can look at some definition of tour guiding. Is the person communicates with tourists during their travels and facilitates the travel organization from beginning to end there of traveler, and he introduced the visited region to tourists in all aspects and ensure that tourists have a pleasant time in the region and helps tourists in extraordinary situations and protects the rights of tourists during the travels also. Yes, who is not a tour guide? Because this is a very this is a term maybe which can refer to different types of people, but they are not tour guides. Firstly, some people who make a group transfer or maybe transfer a hotel or holiday village are not tour guides. And some people who work in a travel agency but do not have a license and accompany the group to visit group or information are not tour guides. And foreign national who come to Turkey as an employee or maybe foreign tour operator inform visitors on behalf of their agency and mostly work illegally without a work permit in our country are not tour guides. Tour guides playing a special role in intercultural interactions that are particularly important in the context of tourism. It provides information and stories about the sites, visits, and the places photograph and the people encounter and adds an interpretation to silent panorama outside the window also. The purpose and importance of tour guide profession or maybe tour guide education. Because tour guides is one of the most basic promoter in a country, and also it gives correct and sufficient information about a country, a region, and it is so effective in leaving the tourist satisfied. Also, revisitation intention. It undertakes the task of accurately describing not only tourist reach of the country, but also the political, social, and ethnic structure. And they are a communication provider, and also they are a cultural commentator between local people and tourists. They are a person, they are a good example, they are an ambassador who represent the country in the eye of tourists, and they are a strategic representative who has a one-on-one relationship with tourists. They have a great role in turning the customers gained into permanent customers or permanent visitors maybe. They take some responsibility of summarizing the importance of place visited and being the window of the places, region, and country. They shed light on the featured tours by providing information and reporting to the travel agency also. We have some qualifications for being a tour guide. Knowledge, skills, qualifications, physical appearance are complementary elements. It must be. And it is known that tour guides can generally practice their profession in accordance with their agreements with travel agency or tour operators. And at this point, it is inevitable to create a competitive environment among the guides, because tour guides are freelance and they have daily workers. If a tour operator give a job to tour guides can earn money. So if a tour guide wish to earn more tour or more money, he or she should be more better than other professional guides. And it is obvious that determining the tour guide that travel agencies and tour operators will work with primarily in terms of knowledge, skills, qualifications, physical appearance will increase the quality of guidance services offered the guests. And at this point, guides should also so important and for realizing to tour better. We have some advantage and disadvantage as a tour guide. Also, I am a professional tour guide for 12 years in Turkey, and I saw many experiences on behalf of advantages and also disadvantages. Now, I would like to express from the advantage of one. Firstly, tour guide is the building block of the tourism sector and goes outside his normal life and goes to an environment where he is a foreigner, and whether he travels or another region, his own country or another country. He needs help in everything from information to shopping, attitudes and behaviors to entertainment in an unfamiliar foreign environment. Nowadays, most of the tourists browse the websites about the region or country they will go to, and they can read from guidebooks, magazines, and so on. And they can have an opinion on almost every subject from the publication. And depending on the performance quality services, the tour guides affect success of the tours so much, and it is so extremely important for the image country and gaining tourism information. While tour guide is at the forefront of the tourism industry, it is they have an active role in shaping experiences of tourists at the destination. It reflects the image of Turkey and Turkish people, or maybe it reflects from the India or Indian people, and maybe other culture, and they provide the tourists to create an image about the community, and either positively or negatively. Guidance professionals have the opportunity to communicate with people from all over the world. Tour guides are prestige ambassadors of a country and region, and guides also bridge cultural differences in region in many parts. We have also some ethics. Firstly, tour guides must have the competencies required by the profession, language proficiency, or visiting some places that should be visited, and it should behave professionally in professional matters. They must have an honest personality and not behave arrogantly. They should be presentable. They should know that they represent other guides and act accordingly. During the tour, everyone should show explanatory behavior. They are a good example in front of the tourists. They should be a solidarity with each other, and they should give importance to organization, and they should be in dialogue with each other. And they should be able to consult each other on matters they need. And the guide should contribute training. And the guide should not gossip about other guides, other college, other stakeholders, anyone in the tourism industry that connect with tourists doesn't be mentioned by tour guides during the tour also. Yes, we can have a look at the education of tour guides. In order to be a tour guide in a country or in a region, there are various certification programs and trainings, and many places cannot become a professional tour guide without passing some exams and without getting some degree, although there are efforts to standardize these trainings in some regions. When we look in general, there is no training program that has been accepted or implemented in general regarding tour guides throughout the world. So, tour guiding education can differ from country to country. Yes, as you see on the screen, for example, Australia, Brazil, Greece, India, Serbia, Spain, Russia, Romania, Estonia, Croatia has different tour guiding education and also basic qualifications. Maybe India recognize bachelor or university degree, or maybe Brazil only has compulsory for education, secondary education is enough. The role and function of a tour guide on tour satisfaction. Because we have different courses in the tour guiding education, from arts, from civilizations, from iconography, from for example, leadership, and it is so important to express or create positive image for tourists about the country. For example, let's have a look example for the communication lesson. If we give more information in the communication lesson for a tour guiding education, a tour guide who gets these education levels maybe communicate with tourists more well, and more maybe tourists can be more satisfied also. And maybe tour guides, if a tour guide can take a leadership lesson, he acts or behave his group in a accordingly and organizingly. Also, communication and tour guiding education, as I mentioned before, we have some roles in tour guides, basically divided into 4 elements: firstly, helpful, social, interactional, and communicative. And these 4 different basic elements can be learned only in the communication lessons with the context of tour guiding. It is not the same with Department of it is not the same, the communication courses in the recreational management department and also tour guiding department. I am working as a trainer in tour guiding department. My teaching way to communication lesson is so different when I would like to compare with, for example, hospitality management department. We have some role of tour guiding education between tourists and tour guides. Acting by knowing the stage and details of communication process and choosing our words and behavior carefully, and in the source position and receiver position, maybe our way of to act by fluently and with a plain language while conveying knowledge or true thoughts, and to be speak efficiently and keeping the buyer's attention on the subject, knowing what, where, and how to say, and it depends on buyer value judgments, beliefs, and etc., and paying attention to his appearance and using our body language is all parts mostly depending on having some lessons related these issues. For example, as I mentioned before, introduction to tourism, communication lesson, cultural, intercultural communication lesson also includes these issues. Yes. Role of tour guiding education on tour guide, travel, and hospitality business relations. The harmony of tour group, the success and coordination of the travel business, ensuring the satisfaction of tourists and increasing the loyalty towards the destination, and depending on the communication approach to guide. Guide act an important bridge in ensuring coordination between tour providers, and these are hotels, restaurants, theme parks, recreation management, and many more I can say. Tour guides who communicate with tourists directly and most intensely during the tour are people who use their duties and powers on behalf of agency and represent the agency in every aspect also. And the local community and other parts, there are always a cultural gap in every field that tourists and locals encounter. The tourist guide has important role in filling the gaps. Tour guides have important part in acting as a cultural intermediary between the local people of the host community and the visitors coming to region, acting as a communication bridge between two parties. For this reason, it becomes a necessity to giving some lessons to tour guiding students who generally work as a translator and mediate to transportation of all kinds of information between local people, tourists, and to improve their skills in intercultural communication. We have some advantage and disadvantage. Finally, we can summarize with a table. Advantage in reach in social activities and socialization, revealing the social side of people, open to personal development and learning to be patient and responsible. And the disadvantages, guidance based on physical strength, the guidance profession is a seasonal job, the guidance profession lacks of job security, the guidance profession is dependent on external factors, and the guidance profession must constantly renew themselves. But if you love your job, you dismiss all the disadvantage in this job. You can work all day with a very smiling face and happily. Yes, some important courses in the tour guiding education we can have a look at. Firstly, conducting to tour by tour guides. This is the start with the conducting tour. And these also tour start with tour preparation in introduction to the tours. There are a few things you need to know before the tour starts. Firstly, you have a little research about the group. You can update your knowledge about the itinerary covers, and you have pick what you need to take along. And you should research the incoming group, for example, the special needs or interests and their experiences. For example, they have any problems, fitness or health, their swimming possibility, and any particular interest. How to research your incoming group, briefing from operation manager, from email, and the previous tour guides. Pre-departure preparation, firstly, we should prepare ourselves. We contact a booking agent or tour operator about the tour details. We should research or review sites on itinerary, for example, roads, sites, facilities, contents, environments. We should some checklists before leaving home, what we should do and what we shouldn't do. And we should handle arrivals. We should start with greetings, and then tips, and then how tourists can find you, the arrival types. Handle check-ins. Start with calling the hotel before we arrive with our groups. Also, when we arrive the hotel and registration and check in the documents also. Pre-departure checks composed of snacks, safety equipments, first aid kits, microphone system is set and working, and information the tourists also. Conducted tour starts with tour briefings. These are composed of welcome cocktail, introduction, tour information, tour requirements, travel tips, and documents. And yes, introduction means introducing ourselves to group, tour members, and maybe we can add extra. Also we should give information about our transportation, tickets, drinks, meals, inclusions and exclusions, and confirm timing details and confirm the itinerary. We should manage expectations because everyone has different needs and experiences in a tour, and we should give and explain information with a politely and with a very kindly way. Before trips, before tour, you have determined some issues related with healthy, money, tour stop, restaurants, hotel, and being separated from the group. You should be professional related to these issues. How to be professional with related these issues? It is completely having your time to these issues, and maybe if you are not a professional guide, you can have a some example, make an example related these issues also. And the tour itinerary is another important issue. We should obey all the rules. If we want to obey these and not with some problems, we should explain all details to our tour. Yes, and finally, realization of the tour is the final part. Even if many people can see the first part of this. One of the most basic responsibilities of the tour guide is visit some routes determined on the tour program, and which is determined by the travel and agency. We are trainer in the universities in tour guiding department, and we should more professional in realizing the tour when we give information to our students about some courses. Maybe we can explain or maybe give some lessons about artificial arts, or maybe some civilizations, maybe ecotourism, or maybe spatial type tourism. But all lessons in tour guiding, we give information our students as if we are in a professional guide in the cultural tour. So every lesson should be the first part of the tour and realization of the tour also. When we conclude the tour, we should need to do something. Firstly, we should have a polite way to concluding the tour to our tourist groups. Maybe we can take some photo and tell about to say goodbye to our members. And it is so important to travel company because they have some evaluation form, and it should be mostly positive. And another important part is working with love. We should know our love and our rights, even if some problems with travel management or accommodation management. So it is so normal to have some problems during the tour. But if we know our basic rights as a tour guide, we can solve this problem with the minimum effects. And tour guiding education has a different role after pandemics. We can express also this. One of them is lessons should include with virtual reality, as the COVID-19 outbreak continued to cause some challenges to the global tourism industry, and we should think creatively about new innovative ways of working to tour actively. So live and virtual tour, while may not work for everyone business, is a workaround you can consider during pandemic as a tour guide. I would like to show an example of that. This is the basic and simple virtual tour doing in 4 islands and watched by many viewers during the pandemic. Yes, another type is we should include our lessons to personalization concept. This means our groups with a very few visitors and very few guests. And the other one is local tours should be evaluated in lesson. Domestic tourism involves residents traveling within the country. An example of domestic tourism would be South Indians visiting Taj Mahal or Chinese visiting the Great Wall. Since domestic tourists don't cross any international borders, they don't need any visa or passport, or neither do they need to convert their money into a different currency. Many people visit different parts of their country during holidays. Domestic tourism has a greater scope in the countries of a large dimensions, such as India and the US, as compared to smaller countries. Tourism may look inwards. Thankfully, traditional domestic travel destinations have remained largely inert to the virus. So much of the honeymoon and holiday traffic may stay within the India. And alternative tourism types will boom up. Alternative tourism means spatial types tourism, except from mass tourism and crowded places. It means ecotourism, gastronomy, golf, yachts, diving, cultural, bird watching, caravans, villages, tents, caves, or other alternative tourism types rather than sea, sun, and sand. So, we should our students have to be experts in a tour guiding issues. For example, our guides, when graduate from the tour guiding departments, can be an expert in gastronomy, or maybe ecotourism, or maybe diving, or maybe bird watching, or maybe for example, or maybe the seeing the rare people. And companies called incoming agencies which will accommodate foreign tourists will turn their target our immediate neighbors. And the tours based on activities will be more lessons. During these times, many teachers, I would like to be honest for in this issue, teachers gave their lessons in schools and in the inner parts. But after COVID-19 and even we had some masks, we learned new things. We can our lessons within the outdoor places. So it is so popular to make lessons in the outdoor places. VIP tours with road trips will be on travel management with a professional guide with a high services. And social media uses will be handled in marketing lessons by tour guides. I am focusing on some lessons for tour guiding students, and one of them is marketing and also social media using, because many people tend to use social media interactions and social media channels. And after tours, tourist groups can have votes to tour guides and also travel agencies, and so important to being an active part in the social media. Yes. Finally, I would like to make a roadmap of the tour guiding education scenario on a new world. maybe after pandemic. Firstly, tour safety will be evaluated in all courses, but safety has a big meaning. Not only think only the safety related with feeling safe or feeling happy for this. We should behave on behalf of accommodation, transportation, food and beverage, and in different parts. More special types in tour guiding lesson, local tour with different dimensions also will be determined. More branded tour guides and expert tour guides will be popular, and tour operators will a high quality is so important. I would like to finish my presentation with much appreciative to dear organizers and participators. Thanks all.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for that very engaging session. We have a few questions from the end of our participants. So if you allow us, can we convey the same to you? The first question that we have is that somebody is asking that in this age of smart tourism, there are few smart tour guide apps which are available. So, and they're available in our country and other parts of the world as well. So, will those apps be helpful for the tourist during the session? Like, do they have the capability of replacing the tour guides altogether, or they would act as a supplement? So what is their exact role, especially keeping in mind the post-COVID-19 scenario?
Yes, very good question. Thanks for your question, dear ma'am. And also, I am working on these issues because smart tourism is one of the most popular themes in the academical arena. Yes, smart tourism will be a leader part of the tourism industry. Every stakeholders use smart tools. For example, when you go to restaurants, you will use smart apps. And also when you go to hotel for accommodating, you can use smart apps. Also, when you visit the museum, you can also use smart apps. It is so normal to use in different parts and different tourism types. And tour guides, even if tour guides will feel some threats for smart tools, we should handle with it, and we should be a leader with the competitive parts in smart tools and also tour guides. And also, if we see smart tools is the biggest helpers in the tour guides, we can accomplish and we can success our tour with very effectively and with very freshly. So we should learn how to use smart tools with very effectively and with very fruitfully. I hope I can answer your question. Thanks all.
Yes, ma'am, we just have another question which we would like to convey to you. Ma'am, you have such rich and extensive experience for so many years in tour guiding, and it reflects very much in your presentation. Now, there was a part in your presentation where you were discussing regarding some issues that might happen during the tour, like the tour guide might need to handle any kind of health, security, and safety issues. So, ma'am, from your experience, can you share how challenging does it really get? And if there is any particular experience of yours you can refer to in that case, how challenging it is? Because all these things at the end of the day will help us to groom our students accordingly, to let them know what exactly happens when they are out there on the field.
Thanks all, dear ma'am, for your question. now I am still a tour guide in Turkey. Also, in my the first year of tour guiding, I have a big challenges. One of my guests, passed away, and I have no idea what should do in this situation. And since I have very newly tour guides, I would like to ask my elder colleagues in my same region, what should I do for this situation? And he said that immediately I should call my agents and inform about the situation. And also, by the way, I should call the police, and also I should call the hospital. I did all of requirements one by one, and during this time, the another important thing is relaxing all guests with an emergency situation. Everything you should mostly say that everything will be okay, and we will continue our tour with smoothly and with a very minimum problems. You should believe, firstly, you should believe yourself, and after, you should firstly believe your science before you express to guests. And after you express and mention about this issue, your guests will also believe your sayings and your decisions. The all groups will go wherever you go, and will choose wherever you choose, because tour guide is a leader. So when you decide a decision, when you decide to go anywhere, all groups can do as you do same. Firstly, you should be more confident yourselves. You should be feeling more responsible in your tour, and you should feel you should make some good impression to your groups about this issue also. I hope I can answer your question well. Thanks all.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for patiently answering all the questions. And really, it was a very nice and informative session. You have described to us the history of tour guiding, connecting it with the different milestones of tourism, how the first guides were the Egyptian priests, the beginning of travel writing, the first guidebook by Pausania. You have explained to us the purpose and importance of the tourist guide profession, everything like the qualifications required, professional ethics, how they can deliver efficiently towards tourist satisfaction. So right from the prehistoric days to the current day, especially in the post-COVID-19 scenario, what could be the different advantages and disadvantages, the different aspects of tour preparation. And there was this very informative slide on researching on the incoming tour group. Now, this is something which all of us and our students shall benefit from once shared with them. So thanks a lot, ma'am. Thank you for your presentation. And now may I request Professor Siddharth Nanda, sir, head of the institute, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I personally wanted to thank you. Reason being, you have always helped our institute. You're also a part of Board of Studies, if I'm not wrong. And in fact, I was just going through your presentation. Your most, one of the most USPs was the way you have, showcased the PowerPoint presentation in a more simplest way, yet attractive way, so that the audience of all, levels, the participants across all platforms could understand it easily. Another aspect was we all should learn from you. How do we deliver? Reason being, you try to make the content and the concept very simple, yet very meaningful to all of us. I'm really thankful to you, ma'am, for addressing all of us, including me and my team members and all the participants. I'm really grateful to you that you could spend your valuable time. I would always hope that we could have more events associated with you in the future as well. So thank you once again from Amity Institute of Travel and Tourism, Kolkata.
Thank you so much, dear
ma'am.
Professor Nanda. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
dear Professor Vandita.
Thank you.
And also much appreciated to you, all members
you.
of these organizers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our respected guest, Professor Siddharth Nanda, our HOI, and all the participants, our team members who are present at this moment. I would request our participants to please go through the attendance and assessment form, which has been shared with you on the chat box and on the WhatsApp groups as well. And we will see you tomorrow once again at 2:30 p.m. IST sharp. So till then, goodbye and please have a great time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.